What is Shivling? Shivling is Ling and Yoni. I don't understand why Hindus are very apologetic to accept that it is Ling and Yoni. It is damn Ling and Yoni. Firstly, we have to stop calling ourselves India. We were never India. At best, we were Indica. South of Himalaya, north of Samudra, okay, is the land which is called Bharat, and the Santati, the children of that land, are called Bharati, means Bharatiya.
I'm not going to say the Bharat, but I will say the India that we see today.
Which one? Rahul Gandhi's India or whose India?
No, mine.
God save the people who are going to vote for that Rahul Gandhi's India.
Nitish Bharadwaj is most well known for his role as Lord Krishna in B.R Chopra's Mahabharat. I have grown up watching him every Sunday at 9 a.m. for over 2.5 years. But today, I really understood the depth of what I was watching when I was young. He spoke about the importance of Dharma and what does it really mean in Kali Yuga. I often had this question of what is the difference between Maryadapurshottam, Ram Bhagwan, and of course Leelapurshottam, Krishna Bhagwan. Especially when I just visited Vrindavan in December, these were some important questions that were reeling in my mind, which I addressed to him. And he so simply put across all of the importance and the history and heritage behind these concepts, and why they are important for us to go back to when we face a struggle, because that is what is going to take us through the test of life, or as he said, the Kurukshetra of life. So please do listen to this absolutely wisdom-packed episode. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe, because that's the only way I can get many, many more interesting guests like Nitish Bharadwaj.
Welcome, Nitish on Pragyaan. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. And before we start off, it's a fascinating story about how I got introduced to you, and it's all thanks to Pandit Katliji that you heard his episode, and
Yes.
then we got connected. So I'll be ever grateful to him. But thank you so much for listening and then reaching out, and it was an absolute honor for me to hear from you.
Pleasure. Chai pe charcha. I don't know when I'll do this with the Prime Minister, so let's begin with you.
I'm already honored. You're comparing me with the man himself, the man of the moment, so to say.
Absolutely.
But you never seemed unfamiliar, and that's because we had a date with you every Sunday while growing up at 9 a.m. for a couple of years. So it doesn't seem like I don't know you, because I've seen you growing up. And while you are obviously associated with this character of Krishna Bhagwan, I want to really delve a lot into you as a person and what you took away from that character through your many years. It's been 33 years now since the last episode aired. And you would have obviously seen a lot of that unravel in your life. So I'm going to really take that angle to our conversation. But also, when you played that character, you were just 23 years old, fairly young. And yet when we see you on screen, there's a certain sense of wisdom, or जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, बहुत ठहराव है. There's maturity in the character that you played. Did you really get that because you were always exposed to this in your growing up years, because the environment was such that none of this seemed new to you?
That was acting.
True. Which you did.
That was acting.
Which you did a fantastic job of, which I don't think anyone can ever do it again. It was like the best exhibition or so to say the display of the character. I think that is why we still associate you with that.
God is kind. He gave me the right margdarshan, guidance, and blessings of Ma Bhagavati, without which I don't function. I can't function. She is my mother. And so your basic question is, how was it playing it at the age of 23? Yes, certain amount of therav and understanding. You see, the therav comes when you understand what you are doing, why you are doing. Correct? And my family being modern family, as in traditional yet modern. Traditional because they believed in the traditions of Bharat. So we celebrated every Utsav. We did all the pujas at home. So I think all that upbringing gave me a certain amount of gravity of character. and understanding of the scriptures right from my childhood. So it's not that I was selected and then I did a crash course in a month and then I was standing as Krishna. It's not that. And then my theatre, Marathi theatre, when I was doing in the 70s, Sangeet Natak, musicals, were still alive in Marathi theatre. And I have heard and seen great stalwarts of musicals in Marathi theatre at that time. And one of them was a stalwart who played Krishna. You know? Then in Marathi cinema, there was one gentleman named Shahu Modak, who was known as Krishna. And then he did Sant Gyaneshwar. He also did a film called Manus for Prabhat Film Company. It was bilingual. It was also made in Hindi called by the name Admi. Okay. So I have seen best of cinema, best of theatre, best of music. My mother was trained in classical Indian music in Kirana Gharana because she came from Karnataka. Okay. So we attended a lot of music concerts, private and public concerts. So all that together is culture.
Yeah, and like you said, you never did a crash course. It was almost as if you were preparing to do this role as you were growing up.
I was not preparing.
No, not you.
He was preparing me to do this role someday. Unknowingly you just absorb everything like a sponge. And then one fine day he says, do it. I've given you everything. And I, like a fool, man is a fool. I declined this role twice.
Oh.
I was selected as Vidur. Then Ravi Chopra said, no, you look too young for Vidur because after a few episodes he'll be an old man all through the series, which is the fact.
Yeah.
So then he said, I was doing a film, ad film for him. Which one was that? Philips Transistors. And we were shooting. So he said, tu Nakul Sadev kar le. Sorry, I won't be a property. No, Nakul was. I said, I know. Yet, they don't have that kind of, they were fantastic characters. But given the scheme of screenplay, they wouldn't have had, there was no chance that they would have had enough footage to prove your acting prowess,
True.
By then I had already started doing Marathi cinema as the main lead. Then I did my first feature film in Hindi as a main lead with Nana Patekar, Pallavi Joshi and me,
Yes.
Trishagini. So I was happy doing that, And then my mother called up, ye phones nahi the na tab, So you would shoot the whole day somewhere outdoors and you come back home to the hotel and you get a message that your mother had called up, so you call back. So he said, Goofy Pentel called up, they want to audition you for Krishna. I said, tell them I don't want to do it. So she told them he doesn't want to do it. Before that, Goofy came home to convince me. So I said, nahi yaar, Goofy mujhe nahi karna hai Krishna yaar. So
what was your apprehension?
Yeah, so that's what he asked me the third time when I bumped into Ravi Chopra in BR TV while dubbing, getting Bhagyashri to dub that episode. He said, what's your apprehension? I said, I'm too young to do that. I'm not experienced enough to carry that responsibility on my shoulders, number one. Number two, I feel, you guys will make me smile and do this and, because हाथ कर ले ऐसा, smile करता रहे. I said, that's not Krishna.
Not at all.
So he said, who told you that I'm going to do that? Let's do a screen test, no? We'll do an audition. Then we'll see where मैं कहाँ बोल रहा हूँ कि तुमको रोल दे दिया. तो तेरे साथ 3-4 लोग और हैं. So he lured me actually. There was only Gajendra Chauhan with me. So Gajendra also, then I said, okay, let's do it. So I went and did it. And I saw Gajendra's test. He did fantastically well. He spoke well, he did everything. But that nuttiness and Sanskrit language,
Give you the edge. Yeah.
There were more people who probably they were better looking people who could have done Krishna. But Krishna is not looks. Krishna is anything but looks.
Yeah. So you said while growing up, you read a lot of these stories, and I'm very curious to hear from you. Maybe what were 2 or 3 stories that you still carry with you, which are like morals that you hold on to and go back to very often in life?
You're asking me the themes of my future feature films. as a writer, screenwriter, director. No. But I can tell you, Mahabharat itself, Mahabharat as in Pandav Kaurav story itself, there are so many lessons to learn from this story. You know, say for example, who's the villain? To you, who's the villain of Mahabharat? This Kaurav Pandav story.
Duryodhan.
He's the victim. Who's the villain?
Dhritarashtra. And Gandhari.
No.
Dhritarashtra and Shakuni.
No. He's a tool to be used by Dhritarashtra as it suits him. It's Bhishma and Dhritarashtra.
Okay.
To me, it is Bhishma and Dhritarashtra. Bhishma's first mistake, you see, Bhishma is the 8th Vasu of Ashtavasu. And his weakness was ahankar, ego. So that Shapat, Bhishma Pratigya of Devavrat, Gangaputra Devavrat, was taken in that arrogance of ego. Yeah, main kar dunga. I am sacrificing this for my father. Who told you to sacrifice? There could have been another way. You know?
Yeah.
Because of that, then whatever unfolded, now he got stuck into his own Chakravyu. That now I have to follow this, the vow of celibacy.
Yeah.
So I will never be the king. Means I cannot take the correct decision. I can advise, but it is not applicable. It is not binding on that king. Then he had a very warped understanding of commitment to the throne. Commitment to the throne means commitment to the man who is sitting on the throne and taking those decisions. If the man is wrong, you have a right to remove him.
Yeah.
It is the Praja's right to remove him, and you had the power to remove him. You kept quiet because you had a warped understanding of your commitment and loyalty. So he's the first. He's not a negative villain, but it's his folly that made the whole story.
And led to the war.
Yeah. And then comes Dhritarashtra, who was an opportunist.
Yes.
He's an opportunist. So he wanted to be the king. According to the Shastras and Nitis and Raj Dharma Niyams at that time, a blind man couldn't have been a king because it was expected that the king will always lead the army. So he can't fight. Okay? That's why Pandu was made. So when Pandu went to the Vanvas, making him a caretaker king, he got his, oh my God, I've got this, I've got my, this thing, my Supta Ichha, hidden agenda. It's complete now. Now I will go to any extent to keep this mukut on my head. So he started using Shakuni, he started using Duryodhan. So Duryodhan is a victim. And what happened? Duryodhan is an ideal example of a narcissist.
Yes.
A narcissist. Okay. So he developed a very heightened sense of entitlement. And that sense of entitlement comes from his father. He was not entitled, but he felt he was entitled. Same thing happened to Duryodhan. So these are all the characters that we learn from, and we see these characters right here.
Yes.
In our daily life, and they are red flags. And when there are red flags and you fail to see the red flags, you are in a soup.
Absolutely, and that's also...
These are the learnings.
Yeah, also it's life's way of teaching you the lessons which you need to learn to evolve as a person.
Yes.
And so I want to now come to, I've heard you say this even just earlier in the evening where, many people expect that you will have all these 700 shlokas memorized. And you said something very beautiful, that I have a parrot at home and he knows it all.
It's a joke.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But what really, through this 1.5 years, 2 years of recording the Mahabharat, there must be something that you would have become while recording this as an individual. You would have grown when you get so much knowledge, when you have so much experience. I want to understand, because my guru says the same thing. He says it's not always about having and knowing. It's about becoming, because that is what
Yes.
no one can take away from you. The experience and the history that you were talking
Shivam
about.
bhutva Shivam yajet. You have to be Shiva to be Shiva, to understand Shiva. And while you understand Shiva, that's the way you become Shiva. Yeah. So it is very important. Again, it's a journey. So people should always remember the journey is more important than the goal. Goal must be honorable, but the journey is also equally important. And that's why attaining that goal by hook or crook through unscrupulous means is not correct. That's not dharma. Yeah. So when I was shooting and while I was doing it, one gentleman made me really think one day as to what I am doing. Actually speaking, honestly, there was no time to think how Nitish Bharadwaj is growing. You would wake up in the morning, go to Film City, shoot. The episode would come on Monday morning, read through the episode, do all your scenes. Of course, then we knew what's coming in the next episode because I had the good fortune to assist Dr. Rai Masoom Raza on a few occasions. Quite a few occasions I used to go and to his house and assist him. And so I knew what is coming. And I would read in that Marathi Mahabharat translation how the interpretations are given. So again, it's criticism. You should always, that's why I have grown up appreciating criticism. Criticism is that it puts you on the right path. Because you're not God.
No.
Yeah? Gods like Shiva have also made mistakes, no? He created Bhasmasur, and then the Bhasmasur, you ran after him to kill him. So then everyone had to go to Vishnu. So gods have also made mistakes. Okay? So it's that kind of a leverage that you give to yourself. So there was no time to think what I am becoming. Life made me think what I can become. But one man during the shoot of Mahabharat made me think as to what am I doing? And I'll tell you how. He didn't criticize. Let me tell you how. Rai Masoom Raza was a phenomenal man. Phenomenal. Naughtier than me. He loved anywhere we went, every Saturday, Sunday, we used to, Sunday especially, most of Mahabharat stars would go all across the country and cut some ribbon. Okay? So, and wherever we went, his only this thing was, mujhe meetha le aana. So,
yeah, you were the influencers of that era.
Influencers of that era. Looking at influencers of today's era.
Yeah.
I mean, Bhagwan bachaye aaj ki generation ko. So,
that's why we're having these conversations, because I think somewhere we need to reset, right? What our values are. Sorry, go ahead.
So we were shooting Shanti Doot's speech, okay, and Chinese premier was to come on the set on that day. So protocol and external affairs ministry officials and everyone in Film City. So 40 odd officers standing there, and the Chinese premier comes, and so Chopra uncle was there because by then Ravi Chopra was directing more. And B.R. uncle used to focus on scripting and post-production. Okay? So, scripting is the base. Story, dialogue.
Sure.
So everybody had come because Chinese premier is coming as protocol. And I just finished that last bit. It's a long Shanti Doot speech. I finished that. And Rai Saab was also sitting, and I was introduced to, all the artists were introduced to the Chinese delegation and the Prime Minister, and then Rai Saab, I suddenly see him smiling at me. It's like, I said, क्या हुआ सर? इधर आओ, इधर बैठो मियाँ. बैठे. मैंने कहा क्या हुआ सर? हम आज आपसे कुछ कहने वाले हैं. मैंने कहा राय साहब, अभी जो सुना कुछ गलत बोला क्या मैंने? मियाँ सुनो, सिर्फ सुनो. हमने कुछ लिखा, पर हमारा लिखा जब बेटा तुम बोलते हो तो हमको लगता है हमने कुछ लिखा.
Beautiful.
So, I mean, मेरे तो रोंगटे खड़े हो जाते हैं. That's practically the best compliment I have received for my performance.
Yeah.
Okay. So that really made me think कि मैं बोल तो बहुत effectively रहा हूँ, but I must know, I must go back to school and learn what I'm saying, you know. So उस जमाने में हम लोग टेप करते थे, VHS पे सब टेप करते थे. So I used to go back and learn, and even today, let me say, with due respect to the writers today, जो राय साहब लिख के गए ना, उनका हाथ कोई नहीं पकड़ सकता डायलॉग्स में. Also because today I'm sure there are good writers, but आप उनको अगर सोप लिखने को बोलोगे, 30 minutes you write every day, it's not possible. Art is not a factory line product.
Yeah.
वो 5 दिन में एक एपिसोड लिखते थे. आज आप बोलोगे एक दिन में लिखो और every day लिखो, नहीं होगा. So that's how it was, and then I started going back to those dialogues, and I said, okay, this is the perspective, this is the situation, and it was all there. But that was assimilating. See, one is knowledge, reading or speaking.
Yeah.
Second is understanding and assimilation. Third is practicing it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Very big difference.
Yeah. It takes
Very
a
big
lifetime to convert that knowledge into practical experience.
Practical experience and apply it to your life. Okay. And I must say my life has not been very easy. My life path is very difficult life path. So I have failed. Like I always believed. So far I used to tell people, they would ask me to distinguish between how to live as a Ram and how to live as Krishna, or when to be Ram and when to be Krishna. And I would bluntly say, in your personal life you have to be Ram, inside your Dehli of your house, and outside the Dehli of the house you be Krishna. I've changed because of my own experiences. Even within your house, you have to continuously live as Krishna, because you don't know who's backstabbing you within your household. That's Kali Yoga.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can't apply the principles of Treta Yoga to Kali Yoga. Okay? You can't take everyone as innocent until proven guilty. You have to take everyone as guilty until proven innocent. This is Kali Yoga. That's the difference between Ram and Krishna.
Yeah.
कृष्ण को अगर बोलते वनवास में जाओ तो वो उल्टी पट्टी पढ़ा के मंथरा बिंथरा सबको वनवास में भेज देते हैं.
So true,
Okay?
Absolutely.
But this is the beauty of these stories. You have to learn something from Ram as well. रघुकुल रीत सदा चली आई, प्राण जाई पर वचन न जाई. There will be certain elements like that. Like I follow that in my personal life, that if I've given you a word, I will do it. So I will not give you a word unless and until I know I can honor it.
True.
But if I have given you a word, I have to honor it. That's within my precincts, within my control, right? So there are certain things to learn from Ram. There are many things to imbibe from Krishna. So I have understood in life for myself that I have to be Krishna. There will be moments of being Ram, but being Ram in wrong situations has not helped me.
I am not at all.
It's my fault.
No, but also I think, like you rightly put, for the right time, you need the right kind of tools in your bag to deal with those. And
Yes.
I think the Maryadapurshottam that Ram was, I think in this Kali Yuga and this era of rather manipulation all around, that is not going to play, because people will just walk all over you, right? And so,
but it's like Maryada is required.
True.
Because today, why do you see so much of crime and crimes against women and whatever? Because people have forgotten Maryada. Okay?
Yes.
There are so many things. If you are seeing a rapist is seeing a beautiful woman, don't I see a beautiful woman? But my Maryada tells me, nice, appreciate beauty. Ma'am, you're absolutely gorgeous. So nice to see you. But that doesn't mean I infringe on her privacy. That doesn't mean I commit atrocity on her. That's my Maryada.
No, you bring up a very valid point, and I think I want to also understand the role of women now in society, because you are a father of two daughters, and for you, I'm sure you also see it with that lens. Where in Ramayana, everyone went to war over the kidnapping of Sita ji, and then you see in Mahabharat, it's all about the Aparan of Draupadi, and wars have taken place over this. When you talk about our history, and then where has society gone wrong? Where today women don't have that place in society or that respect in society anymore, and how can we reinstate or bring that back?
Let's before I come to your main question about women attaining that same respect back into Kali Yuga, I must say Ramayana is also not a story of only Apaharan and getting the wife back. It's a love story. Ram was in love with her.
Yeah.
Ek Patni Vrat Ram. He was in love with Sita. Sita was in love with Ram. And it is that love कि वो पागल हो गया. When she was not there, वो पेड़ पौधा फूल सबसे पूछने लगे प्रभु कि तुमने देखा क्या सीता को, मेरी सीता को, तुमने देखा मेरी सीता को. When someone says मेरी सीता को, I'm dying to meet a woman who will say मेरा Nitish. It's such a good feeling. And then after that, जब त्याग करना पड़ा, वो ऐसा नहीं था कि वो त्याग किया मतलब कच्चे कान के थे इसलिए त्याग किया. भाई उन्होंने अपने आप के ऊपर, देखिए, people don't understand this. We take on ourselves certain principles. Now Ram went to the Gurukul and learned what? Ved, Upanishad, Brahman, Aranyak, शिक्षावल्ली, ये तो पढ़ा होगा ना, ठीक है ना. तो शिक्षावल्ली एक जो उपनिषद का अंग है, उसमें से, क्योंकि ये मैंने बहुत अभ्यास करके, मेरे गुरुजनों से चर्चा करके, उनसे मार्गदर्शन करके, ये जब मैं रामायण कर रहा था, ओके, स्मृति ईरानी जी was my Sita. So I said I have to give something different. तो मैंने गुरुजनों से मार्गदर्शन लिया कि क्या होगा. उनकी लाइफ के प्रसंगों को देखते हुए मैंने ये जाना कि the principles which he applied to his life were सत्यम वद, सच बोलूंगा, धर्मंचर, धर्म का आचरण करूंगा, स्वाध्यायान मा प्रमद, स्वाध्याय करने में प्रमाद नहीं करूंगा, आलस्य नहीं करूंगा, लेजीनेस नहीं करूंगा, एंड प्रजातंतुम मां व्यवच्छेदसी, प्रजा के लिए एक आदर्श उदाहरण बन जाऊंगा. अब प्रजा के लिए अगर एक आदर्श राजा का उदाहरण करना है, तो प्रजा में से एक भी व्यक्ति मेरी उसकी रानी के ऊपर, who happens to be my wife, बट वो मेरी वाइफ के रूप में नहीं देख रहा, उसकी रानी है, उसकी रानी के चरित्र के ऊपर संभ्रम ना करे. ये उन्होंने स्वयं पर मर्यादा डाल दी, इसलिए सीता का त्याग किया. लेकिन त्याग करके वो 56 भोग नहीं खा रहे थे सरयू किनारे बैठ के, वो सरयू किनारे कुटिया में रह रहे थे. जैसे मेरी सीता रह रही होगी आश्रम में, उस तृण शैया पर मैं सोऊंगा. ये जो खुद का त्याग है अपना स्वयं का, ये लोग देख नहीं रहे. शासन वही करूंगा, हरेक की बात सुनूंगा, ठीक है ना. तो हाँ, आप सीता की दृष्टि से सुनेंगे तो इनजस्टिस लगेगा, पर राजा राम की दृष्टि से सुने देखेंगे इस पूरे एपिसोड को, तो ये आपको बात समझ में आएगी. और यही प्रजातंतुम मां व्यवच्छेदसी ही इन द गीता बिकम्स यत् यत् आचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्त देवेतरो जना सयत् प्रमाणम कुरुते लोकस्तद अनुवर्तते. जैसा जैसा आचरण श्रेष्ठ पुरुष का होगा, यत् यत् आचरति श्रेष्ठः तत्त देवेतरो जना, देवेतर साधारण जन समुदाय उसका आचरण करेगा. इसलिए हे भारत, सयत् प्रमाणम कुरुते, हे कुरुनंदन, प्रमाण बन जाओ, उदाहरण बन जाओ. You become an example.
Yeah.
You have to set an. I'm a father with my acharan, my vyavahar, my actions. I have to set an example before my daughters. A mother has to set an example before her children or whoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that is Ram. Now, coming to women's role today, see, we have this beautiful concept of Ardhanarishwar. है ना?
जी.
Ardhanarishwar, Ardhanari Nateshwar. Excuse me. What is Ardhanarishwar? What is Gita saying? Gita saying, you, Ardhanarishwar is Shiva and Shakti.
Together. Then you are complete.
What is Shivling? Shivling is Ling and Yoni. Yoni is the pratik. I don't understand why Hindus are very apologetic to accept that it is Ling and Yoni. It is damn Ling and Yoni. There is a scientific meaning behind it, bhai. The Yoni is the pratik of procreation. Without procreation, there is nothing in the world.
There's no world.
Yeah. And the Ling is also it's an integral part of that procreation. Now that becomes Shiv Shakti. What does Shiv give you? What does Shakti give you? So what is masculinity? What is femininity? गीता में कहा है कि दया, क्षमा, शांति, स्मृति, मेधा, धृति, क्षमा, ये सब जो है ना, ये फेमिनिन है. हाँ, तो ये फेमिनिन है तो मुझ में नहीं है.
Of course.
दया है ना मुझ में, क्षमा है, शांति है. तो a man also has feminine aspect and a woman also has masculine aspect. It's a beautiful example my guru gave once on Shivratri. About this Swami Satyojat Shankarashram of my Chitrapur Saraswat Math. What is the balance of this masculinity and femininity? As a child, you learn how to ride a bicycle. Correct? First, you mount the bicycle, you fall down. Correct? So what do you not have? You don't have stability. The moment you get velocity, that is the power, the push, the Shakti, okay, you start getting stability. Correct? So, femininity is that Shakti.
That brings stability.
And stability, the masculinity is the stability. Okay? So, a man's job is to offer stability to his woman. And a woman's job in a household is to give him the Shakti to go out and fight the battles.
Many areas today, we have lost that equanimity, right? And I think that also leads to a lot of stress. It leads to many other psychological challenges. And now when you come back to really our teachings and our scriptures, there is so much in there to really deal with struggle, whether that is talking about Siddh Pragya or that's thinking about Bhakti or there are so many, or Nishkam, Karma Yoga. There are so many things.
It is only Nishkam Karma Yoga. If you see my YouTube channel, it's a Nitish Bharadwaj, Karma is Dharma. Karma is the ultimate Dharma. You will reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not because we have lost this thing. Firstly, we have to stop calling ourselves India. We were never India. At best, we were Indica. Originally, as Vishnu Puran gives you the definition, Uttaram yat samudrasya himadresh chaiva dakshinam varsham tad bharatam nama bharati tatra santati. South of Himalaya, north of Samudra,
yes,
okay, is the land which is called Bharat, and the santati, the children of that land, are called Bharati, means Bharatiya. So the name was either Aryavart or Jambudvip or Bharatakhanda. These were the names. Greeks came and they have written so many beautiful texts, the Greeks also. One of them is a maritime text on the maritime trade.
Mm-hmm.
That text is called Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. Okay, so right from Rome and wherever they came from, and there were so many different ports. So what they would export into that land and import from that land, from each port, that's Periplus. And in that text, the name of Bharat they wrote as Indica.
Oh, interesting. I never knew that.
Indica. So at best it was Indica. So here come the British and they say, we are the British. We must do something different, right? So let's drop the sea and call it India. I mean, kai India? There's nothing called India. कहाँ से नाम आता है भाई? You call Indica क्योंकि उन्होंने बोला है. Otherwise you say Bharat. Yeah.
Come back to the fundamentals.
Fundamentals. So we are Bharat. The moment you start calling ourselves Bharat, we will understand, we will root ourselves to Bharat of Shakuntala and Dushyant. We'll go back to Ramayana and Mahabharat and Natya Shastra and the 18 Purans and all the literature that has originated and taken birth from this mitti, this soil. That's Bharat.
Yes.
Problems today are because we know Pokemon cards. Yeah. The child, I was flying to Delhi yesterday. The child sitting next to me, age 9, okay, was playing with some cards. I asked him what cards are these because I saw some funny ears and whatever. So he said they're called Pokemon cards. So, okay. So what is this character? He's a Pikachu.
Yes.
Oh, and what do you do with it? Do you play? I mean, it's like cards. No, we trade. I mean, why do you want a 7-8-year-old person to understand what is trade? That's artha, sense of possession. Why do you want him to know? Let him. Why are you taking away his childhood? Okay, by too much exposure to our adult concepts and adult life, we are killing our children's childhood. Instead, they should be reading books. They should be reading. We read Chanda Mama, Amar Chitra Katha. As I said, I read Mahabharat. Yeah. I read Ramayana much later. So those are fascinating stories, and there are so many. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? What takeaways from each story? Isapniti, okay, Panchatantra.
Yes.
How many of today's children have heard these names? The moment you go away from your own strengths of the soil, you will get confused. And by adopting the worst things of the Western countries, you've not taken their discipline, you've not taken their punctuality, you've not taken their work culture, okay? You've taken the wrong things of the Western world, and then you call yourself, it's so funny. The other day I met a man, somebody's son who's almost like 50. He used to live in Bandra. So he said, oh no, now I live in Vadala. So I said, from Bandra, from Pali Hill and whatever, Hill Road, you've come to Vadala. So I said, could you adjust? He said, yeah, everything else is okay. I mean, there's a gym, there's a, all that is fine. But all my neighbors, they speak Hindi, yaar. No. He said, they speak Hindi, man. I said, wow.
Yeah.
Do you go back to क्या है वो Chinese premier का नाम? Xi Jinping. Do you tell him that,
you speak Chinese.
You speak only Chinese, man. He's ruling the bloody world, no? With that Chinese.
Yeah.
It's the Rashtra Bhasha. So, हमारे एक मित्र हैं बहुत अच्छे, Shekhar Sen, who's a fantastic singer, music composer, poet, and mono act plays करते हैं. वो तुलसीदास, सूरदास, all that. Once years ago, he had told me one of the poems he wrote. That first 2 lines are, ये भारत देश है मित्रों, यहाँ बहुत सारे इंडियंस रहते हैं.
Yeah.
And they take pride in doing that. And they speak Hindi, man. I said, wow, okay.
No, they should be speaking Chinese.
I just didn't engage myself because, they say, when you engage yourself with fools, a fool brings you down to his level.
Mediocrity. Absolutely.
A fool. Yeah. Hindi? How many languages do you know, bro? How much of Keats and Byron and Shakespeare have you read? How much of Tolstoy have you read? Yeah. Do you know Russian? Have you read Tolstoy in Russian or Chekhov in Russian?
Yeah.
No. But so when you go away from your strengths, and that's why I'm so happy. Yesterday I went to Vrindavan. I see so many foreigners there, so many Russians, and I'm so happy that they have understood one thing coming from the West, that eventually you want peace. And the peace is in bhakti. All they are doing there is they are living there in peace. They are doing Gau Mata ka seva. They are cuddling to the cow. Okay? These are all our old concepts of Bharat, which they are understanding. And that is why I have started to feel, Pragyaji, that the quality of life that I am seeking now is not in major metros. It is in secondary towns. So I feel like going, when someone tells me, I live on the 50th floor of a building, I say, God save you. Because
So far away from...
so far away from that. I want to be close to ground. I want to play with my soil. I want to dig and plant trees. I want to see them grow. That is peace. Being rooted, being grounded.
It also brings back to what you said earlier on about the arrow, right?
Yes.
If you know your history,
Yes.
know where you're coming from,
Yes.
it will help you understand where you need to get to.
Yes.
And I think we're kind of forgetting where we're coming from.
That's why they are like that balloon which you blow air into and
Yeah.
forget to tie and leave, it goes, So the generation, if you are devoid of your own culture, you'll go like that.
Yeah. And so that's very important that we learn. But you're right about the education system, and that's what I want to then transition into. Why? Because you've already answered all of my questions. So now you throw me off.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to ask you about Maryada Purush and Leela and
Leelapurshottam.
What's the difference? I think you've addressed that already.
No, Leela, because his every action is called a Leela because that action was not for himself, it was for larger good. Say, for example, I'll give you a simple example of dahi handi करते हैं ना, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? The pyramid you make.
Yes.
The dahi handi.
In Ganesh Chaturthi? Is that what you're talking
No.
about?
In Janmashtami.
Yes.
Dahi handi करते हैं ना, वो handi ऊपर लगाते हैं.
हाँ.
How do you make that? It's a social pyramid. It's not anyone can stand anywhere. The strongest Varna children, Varna, I'm not using the word caste or jati. The strongest Varna children would be at the bottom. They are the physical laborers. After that comes less stronger but yet stronger, which is the Kshatriyas. Then comes the Vaishyas. Then comes the Brahman. Brahmans were always the lean, आप कोई भी, any story that you read from Puranas.
He's always hungry.
No, not only hungry. In spite of eating 100 laddus, the story will start with एक दरिद्र ब्राह्मण था.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's always lean like that. So that Brahmin will be right on top. And as a representative of all four Varnas, I, the Krishna, goes on top of them as their representative and bring back the makhan matlab kya? Cream. The cream of the society, I'm getting it back and then distributing among the society and then I eat. It's a social pyramid. There's a huge message into that. Okay. That's why this is called not chori. It's not called makhan chori.
No.
It's called Leela. There's a message to the society. We have forgotten that. What we have done is, we have fractured the Hindu community into casteism. That is started by the Britishers. Reinforced by the Britishers, let me correct myself.
Yeah,
It started way back, but originally they are all Varnas. And that is why the two principles, I have called myself in one of my Facebook videos, I call myself Shudra. Who are the Shudras? Everybody is a Shudra at birth. Janmana jayate Shudraha sanskara dvija uchyate is what the Shastra tells me. What is a Shudra? Shudra is someone who doesn't know from this perspective. Shudra is someone who doesn't know what to do in life. So sanskar. Sanskar means also education. Education, culture, utsav, parampara, traditions, achar dharma, vyavahar dharma, prakriti dharma. They are all different types of dharmas. So when you acquire all that, you kind of feel, I know what I want to do. वो आपका दोबारा जन्म हो गया. So you have an air marshal Gokhale, who's an air marshal, but he's a Brahmin by birth. So what is his varna according to Gita? Is Kshatriya. Yeah. So this is how this migration among the varnas was very much allowed and promoted in Prachin Bharat, which we have forgotten. और हम लड़ रहे हैं आपस में 4 वर्ण. लड़के कुछ नहीं होगा. Assimilation is required. So that is integration is required. Assimilation, mingling with each other is required. And that's why understanding of these basic principles of Bharatiya Tattvagyan is important.
If God is all encompassing, as you're saying, then why is it that building a temple is so important? I mean, what is the significance of, let's say, right now, because that's what's contemporary, which is, Ram Mandir is, the inauguration is going to happen. And and I know very little, and which is why I'm asking this question more out of curiosity, where there is no mention in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Ramayana or in the Mahabharat about going and doing idol worship and basically the establishment of temples in those eras. And yet today, when we are talking about establishing Ram Mandir, it's the way, is it a political agenda, or you see that it is also an aspect of reconnecting with our culture? How do you really see this event?
Mahabharat happened in 3100 something BCE. So 5000 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. It is post-Vedic period where even at that time the Vedic gods and goddesses were basically Usha, Aditya, Varun, Parjanya. Okay. There was no trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. It started much later. If at all there was something, it was called Rudra. Okay. The destroyer. The concept of destroyer was there. आदित्यज वो 12 आदित्य, अदिति के पुत्र जो हैं वो आदित्य हो गए, दिति के हैं वो दैत्य हो गए. It was as simple as that. Slowly, because the whole philosophy needed to, because the philosophy is not single pointed. Hindu darshan is multifold.
Yes.
So you needed those gods and goddesses to represent each stream or each value. Okay. So the Trinity developed. Then the Puranas came. The Bhagavad came. So Krishna was not worshipped as God when he was here as an avatar.
No.
He was opposed by Shishupal, by Jarasandh, by Prati Vasudev, Raja Poundrak. Okay. So the whole concept of good, evil, good winning over evil, for that you need stories. So Puranic stories started, Samudra Manthan coming out with all sorts of ratnas, including Kamdhenu, sabse pehle to halahal vish aaya. So then you start creating those gods and goddesses, give them those concepts कि जीवन में हलाहल भी पीना पड़ता है. तो शिव बनो. Rudra doesn't mean destroy everything. Rudra means also destroying the evil within you. Okay? तो ऐसे करते करते ये gods and goddesses, and then it became a whole plethora of gods and goddesses which people need. So masculine men also will practice feminine side of them. Women will also practice the male side of them. Okay? That's what we are all about. That's why Shiv Shakti. Then you have Vishnu. Vishnu giving so many different avatars. Now those avatars in Vishnu Puran are what? To me, it's a human evolution, or you can say it's Varna Vyavastha, assimilation and integration of all the Varnas. How is it human evolution? The life starts with aquatic life. Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Varaha avatar, slowly from Pashu, you are coming to Narasingha avatar, man and Pashu. Okay? And then comes Vaman avatar, who's a dwarf. Then comes a full man, who's an angry man. Parshuram. Then comes Ram, who's absolutely like a, he's Maryada, peace, and he's doing everything the right way. Jivan Mukta is the word used for Ram. Jivan Mukta. That's the word used in the Yog Vasishta. Yog Vasishta is the Shastra taught by Vasishta Muni to Ram, which is a precursor of Gita. Okay? Then comes Krishna. So Krishna is Purna Purushottam. So ideal man. So this is human evolution, much before Charles Darwin. Then you look at the whole thing as Varna Vyavastha integration. Okay? Man and Pashu. Then comes dwarf, Vaman, Brahman, Pura Brahman but Nata. Then comes Jamadagni Putra, Brahman Putra Parshuram, but his karma is anger and killing the Kshatriyas who are abusing the power. So he is Brahman Kshatriya. Then comes Ram, who is Kshatriya. Okay? But then comes Krishna. Why is he Purna Purushottam? Because he is born a Kshatriya. He is brought up by a Nanda Baba who is a Vaishya. He mingled with Bahujan Samaj, he is a Shudra. And he is the Param Yogeshwar, so he is a Brahman. So there are all these things to be learnt from these icons that the Shastras have created. And then you always like to worship something by giving it a special place. I can't go anywhere, and we do it in Vedic meditation. I can sit at the riverside and meditate. Everyone can't. And then the temples came into existence. Like in our dharma, for Hindu, I always use the word dharma. We are not a religion. But in Islam, there are masjids and whatever to pray.
Yes.
Why are they there? Because you need to intensify your faith somewhere. That intensified energy gives you positivity. It's supposed to give you positivity.
And act as a reminder as well.
And certain amount of discipline. Then there are churches made. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
All those religions are doing that. Synagogues made. Okay. So when you go to a temple, you worship, say, a particular principle of a particular god. Then there are festivals around it. Then along with how do you celebrate the festivals? Then there is music and dance and stories from the Puranas. So there is Natya Shastra. This is what is culture made of.
And also community, like you said.
It's the community spirit of everyone coming together. Okay. So temple stands for all these things. That's why a temple is important. When it comes to Ram temple, you can't question somebody's faith and astha. It is now historically and archaeologically proved that this is where Ram Lala's temple was. Okay. That is bygone story. It's an understood thing. So now this temple is not a politicized thing. This temple is celebration of Ram's existence in our culture. This temple is Ram energy, is reconnecting with what Ram stood for, that we are supposed to imbibe and practice. It is also reconnecting with our history and our culture. That is what Bharat is made of. And when it was there, no?
Yeah.
You broke it. It's proved, no? That somebody broke it, right? So now the courts have given a verdict. So why not rebuild it? Rebuild it. It's become political because the so-called India, INDIA, is questioning everything around it. Is this because now there are elections? Who told you to oppose it? Go, no. They've invited you. The Ram Janmabhoomi Nyas and the trust has invited Congress also. Why did they decline? By declining, you have failed to align with the populist feeling and faith of Hindus in this land. You should have aligned. You have declined that gracious invitation given to you. So in a way, you have humiliated the Hindu sentiment and feelings, but you want them to vote for you. What for? And then you say this is politicized. Okay, so if it is politicized, go. Mark your presence there. Nobody stopped you.
Or share your own point of view on the issue at least, if nothing
Yeah,
else.
but show respect to the faith.
Yeah.
Okay, and why I am saying dharma and religion is because the word religion is the recent one. Religion, the word religion comes from the word to relegate. To relegate means to assign lower position. What does that mean? Means adhogati, to go lower. And what does my Shastra of Hindu Dharma tells me? Dhru, the dhatu of Sanskrit dhatu from where dharma comes from is dhru, means धारण करना. मैं क्या धारण करना वो कोई कपड़ा तो है नहीं जो धारण करूँगा. So आचार, my behavior, my thought, vichar, my kartavya, my sense of duty. Okay? So all these are the things, the values and the virtues. You dharan karo those values and virtues. You practice them. That is dharma. And what does that dharma tells me? That it is eventually in your hand whether to become your friend or enemy. Uddharet atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu. Atmaiva ripuratmana. You either can become your own friend and become uddhar, do your own uddhar, vikas, enhancement of life, become a better human being, evolved human being. Or you don't practice all these things and you become your own enemy and go down the drain.
It's your choice.
It's your choice. So, the God also, but the best thing about my Hindu dharma is, he doesn't tell you to do anything. You don't come to temple, no problem. But you practice karma. You do your own uddhar, becoming your friend by following these virtues, good enough. No problem. But temple is a celebration of all these things. A temple, and today it is, of course, it is seen as victory. Because victory comes only when there is a tussle, no?
Yeah.
Who opposed it? Hindus never opposed it. Who asked the non-Hindus to oppose it? So who politicized it? The people who opposed it. Hindus have not politicized it. People who opposed the Ram temple. People who questioned the very existence of Ram Lala's Janbhoomi have politicized it. So today that is why to them, from their spectacles, this appears to be a political event, but from Hindu Dharma spectacle, this is celebration of Ram and the values that he stood for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very, very, very nicely put. And I loved what you spoke about the choice. And because even in the Bhagavad Gita, at the end, Krishna Bhagwan ends with this saying, I have told you all this, but now Arjun, you have a choice of what you want to do.
And the funniest part people don't understand, he himself says in 3100 something BCE, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. अपने सारे धर्मों को त्याग कर मेरी शरण में आ जाओ. No other religion per se existed then. So what was he talking about? He's talking about his dharma as a man, as his dharma as a warrior, his dharma as somebody's brother, dharma. You forget all these things and only remember one dharma of a kshatriya because you're not at home, you're in the battlefield. I can't go to a battlefield and say, oh, no, he's my brother, he's my this thing, how can I? You go home, yaar.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
At home, you can't fight him. At home, he's your brother, he's your guru. In the ashram, he's your guru. Jigyasa karo. Upanishad, very word Upanishad means Upanishad. Sit at the feet of your guru and do jigyasa. Okay? You do that at home. That time is gone. Now you are in the battlefield. Now don't show me your compassion, everything, because then they are the souls anyway. You don't kill them, they are still going to die. So that's the beauty of Hindu Dharma, the Hindu Shastras. Hindu Shastras are so encompassing, all encompassing, and they eventually tell you God is within you.
Yes.
God is out there also, but God is within you. The day I behave loyal to my wife, I'm Ram. The day I become Nishkam Karma Yogi, I'm Krishna. Yeah? The day I'm detached from what is happening and I'm taking correct decisions, I'm Krishna. It's as simple as that. So Hindu Shastra is not difficult to understand. It's very simple to understand.
And also act and follow from what you're
Yes,
saying, right?
yes. Karma, eventually it's karma. You kill your child, you'll come back right here and pay. With interest. Simple
Yes.
as that. So
Yeah.
that's the ultimate dharma. Karma, your own karma is the ultimate dharma. At the end of everything. The day we on this planet understand the concept of karma, all the dharma and religions will not matter.
And so I also want to come back to this, specific episode, which I've always, every time I've listened to it or watched it in the Mahabharat, I always question then what is really the right way, or what is dharma and adharma, which is, we were talking about it earlier, which is on day 15, when Krishna Bhagwan tells Yudhishthir that you have to go and tell Drona that Ashwathama,
Hato hata, Narova, Kunjarova.
and as he
Nar
says,
or Kunjar.
and as he says that, because Yudhishthir is a big upholder of dharma, Krishna Bhagwan plays the shank so loudly that that part gets drowned out. And if you when that conversation goes on, Arjun obviously says how, this is rational thinking and therefore I will not do it, which is why Krishna Bhagwan asks Yudhishthir to do
But
it.
it wasn't rational thinking, it was emotional thinking.
Yes. So I want to get to that where...
Emotions are when you go over emotional thinking, that is irrational thinking.
So my question is, when you don't have a Sarathi, so to say, like Krishna Bhagwan in your life, who's constantly guiding you, and if you always are thinking from here, very often what seems rational and right to you may not be the right thing. And so therefore, how do you align your own values and karma to dharma so that you are also not unknowingly doing any sort of adharma?
Dharma, dharma is very simple. I have a freedom to say anything to you. Okay? But my freedom ends at the tip of your nose. The day you start getting troubled, my freedom ceases. That's adharma. That's why hitting someone, slapping someone is adharma. So I never believed someone slaps you, give your second gal. I don't believe in that. See who has slapped you. There has to be a rationale to it.
Yeah.
It's an all-round thinking. If your mother has done it, you will think, why she punished me? But if someone has done it out of arrogance, I'm not going to offer my thinking and my restraint and my other gal. Hell with you. I'll bash you up in my own way. So Narova Kunjarova was required because this battle itself is Dharma Yuddha. That is why the Kurukshetra became Dharma Kshetra. And who said it? Krishna never said it. Dhritarashtra himself said it. In the very first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra asked Sanjay, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha. The Kurukshetra, which has now become Dharma Kshetra, there Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Kurvati. So Pandu's children and my children have gathered there. What are they doing? Why did he call it a Dharma Kshetra? Because that Kurukshetra, the battle which was being fought there or was going to be fought there was a Dharma Yuddha. Which is what becomes a Dharma Yuddha? Where the purpose of that Yuddha, that battle, is just, honest, for a good of something. It was not for greed.
No.
From Duryodhan's point of view, his heightened sense of entitlement told him, I'm not going to give you, I've taken it. I've snatched it. Yeah, okay, you followed 14 years of, 12 years of Vanvas and 1 year of Agyata. Yeah, but I've taken it. You are the emissary of peace, I will also arrest you.
Yes.
There are no scruples. Because I want it. That's greed. But you had promised them that if they follow this, you will return it. Dharma, justice. They're asking for justice. At the end of the day, he only asked for 5 villages. That also you're not giving. So then the principle of justice has to win. That is why that yuddha becomes dharma yuddha. Now in that dharma yuddha, if these people are supporting adharma, they have to be killed.
Yeah.
Then everything is fair in love and war. Yudhishthir didn't want to say it. He said it, but he should not hear it, Drona. So he played nagaras and conch and everything. That's it. He heard Ashwathama Hato Hata. Yudhishthir said, Narova, Kunjarova, mujhe nahi. Kunjar is an elephant. So I don't know who died, but Ashwathama Hato Hata. That much only Drona heard. So in a battle, battles are fought with strategies, not emotions. There has to be a fire in the belly. But that fire has to be controlled fire and complemented with strategies. And strategies arise out of balance, dispassionate, detached thinking.
Yeah, that's life.
That's life. You have to fight battles. I am fighting my battles in a dispassionate, detached way.
Beautifully said.
So that's why Narova Kunjarova is justified.
Because the end game was dharma. To
Why
establish
did you fail to see that I am asking for justice? If Bhishma, as I said right in the beginning of the interview, had not understood his sense of loyalty in a flawed way, if Bhishma would not have agreed to fight on and become his general on day one, Drona would not have agreed, Kripacharya would not have agreed, Duryodhan could have done nothing.
Yeah. They empowered him.
They empowered injustice. So anyone who empowers injustice has to be eliminated in a dharma yuddha by the principles and the niyams of and laws of the time.
And we're in Kali Yuga.
And we are in Kali Yuga. We are in worst times.
Yeah.
Worst times. That is why Sunny Deol say Tariq pe Tariq pe Tariq pe Tariq, because then justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah.
It was so easy in Dwapar Yuga.
Yeah.
Take a chakra and kill him. Say why I am killing him. Finished.
Yeah. Beautiful. Do you also feel you're getting so much struggle? Because even in the Bhagavad Gita, it says that people who want to evolve and find God will get much more struggle because you need to accelerate your growth.
Yes. That is why I'm not angry with people who trouble me. There I'll fight the Yuddha, I'll defeat them and then say thank you very much. Because you allowed me to grow.
You taught me something.
You taught me, it's a lesson. It's a lesson. I don't lose. You don't win or lose. You learn lessons. We have come here to learn lessons. There can be worse lessons of life. I don't know what lies ahead, but I'm prepared to learn. Because it is all eventually Leela. I have chosen it, my soul has chosen my friends and foes. So that it's a drama. Okay? Today I am leading my life as a drama. All my struggles, all my emotional upheavals, I'm still a human being. I cry. Okay? I feel angry, I feel hurt, I cry. If I feel like crying, I cry. That crying doesn't mean I'm weak. I'm letting my weakness go away. Yesterday I was at Vrindavan, I cried out of ecstasy.
Yeah.
Tears, God has given you lacrimal glands. God has given you tears. They have to be used in the right perspective.
Also just the pure overwhelming love that you feel in Vrindavan.
Yes.
I was just
and the intense astha. Where do you see it? Where do you see it?
I also, talking about meditation, it was wonderful to see you in the same screen as Daji, who's my guru, when you came on during lockdown and launched the Gita Updesh program, which is very successful, still running, by the way. But I think that's a great way also to look at change in society when many more children are exposed to this early on around what the principles of the Gita are. I think I see you as somebody who's very passionate also in your own, political career as well, to get this message out. Okay, not political career, but
My
earlier.
political career, there is no political career.
Okay, not anymore, but you had one earlier, and and at that point you were also fulfilling your duty
Yes.
to society, and I see it like that, where you bring out your own commitment, personal commitment to spread this message. I think what I want to also ask you, when you were in that phase of your political career, how did you really balance the values that you learned from the Bhagavad Gita, or what our culture teaches us, along with sometimes what you need to do with what politics brings with it, right?
Well, I chose, you see, you don't have to practice all the virtues at the same time.
No, of course, yes. I agree.
Yeah. Then you'll go mad, no?
Oh, you can't survive then. You can't live.
survive.
You'll just go
You'll
ballistic.
be a psycho.
Yeah.
So I just entered the political arena with a sense of duty to my society, because I was doing theatre and radio in London from 92 to 95, mid 95, which is when on 6th of December 1992, Babri Dhancha was, it collapsed. Okay. And then I saw how India was portrayed in Western media. I was sitting in the heart of London and seeing all that. And I said, this is not Bharat. This is not correct what they are talking about Hindu Dharma. Okay. So I said, and then I had taken a decision to come back, because I'm a misfit to live in the West. I can't live in the West. I can go there for beautiful nature and, but I have to come back. This is my soil. In fact, I had permanent residency of Britain, which I gave up after COVID. I see the futility of all that. I have taken birth in this land for a purpose. There is a karya karan bhav to my life. Okay. And I have kind of understood and still understanding the karya karan bhav of my purpose of my life. And in that, I don't need to go there all the time. If I need to go for work, I'll go. There are 10 other actors go,
Yeah.
So I gave up. And I am very, very happy being in Bharat. And whatever I was doing, when I came back in mid 95, I wanted to prove a point to myself that I have contributed to some kind of a change. But unfortunately, at that time, my stint was small.
Yes.
Nothing is permanent. No decision is permanent. Things can change. Okay? He will show me the way. Ma Bhagavati, I just pray to Ma Bhagavati and say, show me the way. If there is a problem, I tell Krishna, show me the way. So I went there with Kartavya Bodh, my sense of duty to my society, my sense of duty to Bharat, and that's it. And I tried to do it to the hilt.
So I want to ask you a little bit of a tricky question, and why? Because it's real, right? Today, if I come and you're following your political career with a goal which is to do good for society, so therefore it's a very good cause. But if I come and I say to you that, to fulfill that cause, I am going to lure you with materialistic gain and with many other aspects, which often happens in a political career, for a quid pro quo. But because your end game, which is to serve society, is good, how do you then balance that choice?
Well, if you ask me if that happens to me tomorrow, I will say, what do you want in return? If you want me to become your stooge and commit something anti-national, anti-social, or give you unnecessary, undue benefit, I won't do it. So I have to be ready. I have to be ready to live within the means. And that's why I always tell people, I've told this to one junior actor. He said, sir, we are doing a film together called Yaksh. And he was a new actor, the hero. And he said, sir, ek baat koi aisi bol dijiye, industry mein naya aaya hoon. I said, learn from the tortoise of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? So, Don't spread your needs so much that tomorrow you will not be able to bring them back.
Beautiful. Yeah.
That's what tortoise does. Unfavorable conditions, he goes under that dhal, the shield. You should be able to live in 1 lakh rupees a month, you should be able to live in 10,000 rupees a month. Don't be a victim of addictions. I can't go without this car, I can't do this, I have to have this. No. I can do without anything. And that actor till today, whenever he calls me or meets me, says, "Sir, I am practicing it."
Oh, that's great life advice for all of us.
So if I have to go back to politics, I will have to learn to live within my investments, my means, and the salary that it offers me. Now then I can't say, oh, that guy gets 1 crore package. Then you go there. No. You are in the film industry, you can earn in crores. Then you be there. And then through the NGOs you work, do your karma. But if you want to contribute to the platform of politics, then you be within those monetary means. Then there is no quid pro. What is
Quid
it called?
pro quo.
Quid pro quo. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if
Then
you
there's
are
only
going
one
to,
way service.
yes, then I'm your stooge. You're using me for your ulterior motive, which may be or most of the times will be dishonorable.
Yeah.
Then I'll be sitting in front of the ethics committee and thrown out of the parliament. What use is it? If I want a good car, if I want a good house,
There are other ways to get it.
There are other ways of getting it. When I go up there or whenever, I don't know where I will go. Chitragupta ji will ask me, ये तुम्हारा karmic balance sheet है. Okay, this is your karmic balance sheet. You did these good things, but you did these bad things. Why did you do these bad things? I didn't tell you to sacrifice that and go to politics and do all these bad things. Do I have an answer to give it to Chitragupta? No. It's very simple. See, these things, these simple concepts are nothing but dharma.
Very rightly said. So, are you going to be the next few years? Are we going to see you earn many crores through your screenwriting, or are you going to come back and serve society?
I don't know. Whatever God wants me to do. That Amit ji says Amitabh Bachchan ji says that कि वो उनके पापा ने हरिवंश राय जी ने उनसे कहा था, आपके मन की हो तो अच्छा, आपके मन की ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. Because then it's God's master plan. So, you see, things...
Which is magical.
It's magical. You see, the things happen when your desire is in sync with the God's master plan. Then things happen. Okay? So, I only say I am doing my duty. As of today, I am as a screenwriter, director, actor, I am doing my duty. Whatever God wants me to do, He has already given me, so much love and affection and respect from Bharatiya Samaj and Bharatiyas all over the world that I am overwhelmed. I feel this birth is sarthak, is done. Okay? Because the most difficult thing to earn in Kali Yuga, first let me tell you which is the easiest thing to earn in Kali Yuga, is money. The most difficult thing to earn in Kali Yuga is trust. People's trust. And I see that everywhere I go. It's not only people's love and affection and respect, it's also people's trust. Tomorrow if someone says, "Arey wo Nitish ji na daru peete hain," people will say, "Hey, tu ja yaar." That trust I have achieved. Yeah. That trust I have acquired from people because of His blessings. And my Ma Bhagavati's blessings. So, it's a beautiful space I am in. And eventually it is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, which I told Bihari ji yesterday. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. And in the 9th chapter there is a beautiful shlok number 22. Okay? Where Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. You forget everything and just trust in me. Tumhara yog or tumhara kshem. Kshem means sthairya, sthirta, material. Okay? material sthirta, stability, and yoga means the art of living. I'll guide you well and I'll look after your sthairya also. So you just leave everything to me. So yesterday I was in Vrindavan in front of Banke Bihari. I cried and cried and cried and I felt so good. I felt so good because those were the tears of joy. After a long time I was standing before him and he's so pretty. And he is Radha and Krishna, by the way. Okay? So he is masculinity and femininity. I always say, because of my bad experiences of life and bad situations of life, I don't want to be bitter. Because when I become bitter, I lose my feminine side. Daya, Kshama, Shanti, Dhriti, Medha, Smriti. I lose. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to become bitter. मैं करेला हो जाऊंगा. Then nobody will like
no
me.
fun.
You know? I want to remain what I am. I want to learn. Okay, ये भी एक experience था. But I will learn, and I've learned not to repeat mistakes now. We can't repeat mistakes. Then you're a fool.
Yeah, that's why my guru says you can forgive, but you should not forget.
Forgive. Daya. Kshama. But don't forget the lesson.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm actually going to go back and listen to this episode. I don't often do that because you have packed it with so much deep wisdom that the only way I'll be able to unpack it for myself is I listen to it all over again. And it's been an absolute honor to have you.
Well, all I can say is I am trying my level best to tell people what I have learned about Krishna. The best thing is Krishna is the most practical man.
Yes.
He is the most practical God to guide you in Kali Yuga. And I apply his principles and his life to my life.
No, that's great advice for everyone. I mean, especially for our youngsters, right? Who are now finding that purpose which you spoke about. I think reading the Bhagavad Gita will help them find that purpose. We often look for it in, I want to become a doctor, lawyer, which is not so much your purpose. It is a profession. It's a means.
It's the means to have 4 square meals for yourself and family.
Yeah.
Purpose is something else. That's why there are so many achievers. There are so many achievers are a part of NGOs and Rotary and Lions and this and that. And then that's where they go and see a smile to a face and they say, I felt so good. You know?
Absolutely. That's when you feel joy.
About.
You feel absolute joy, which is unparalleled with even when you see big chunks of your salary getting credited in your account. Because if you use that to bring smiles, that's what brings joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Money is only a means to spread happiness. You are entitled to. You worked hard. You also enjoy.
Yeah.
Nobody tells you don't enjoy. Enjoy. Krishna is celebration of life. कृष्ण सिखाते हैं जीवन को उत्सव की तरह जियो. कुछ भी हो जाए, बांसुरी बजाते रहो, महारास करते रहो, डांस, सिंग, म्यूजिक. Okay? That's Krishna. Celebration of life. Celebration of everything. That's called living in the moment. Living in the moment doesn't mean one night stands. Yeah, people think, I live in the moment. No, he's out. He's passé, man. He's long time back. That's not living in the moment. Living in the moment is this. I celebrate even the worst grief in my life. How? By learning the lesson. By taking it as a learning, as a lesson. I celebrate.
And being present completely in that moment.
Yeah. And not being bitter.
Yeah.
That's so important.
No, resentment can really cause so many debts. That balance sheet that you were talking about.
Karmic balance sheet is what I want to see.
Yeah.
Because everyone, let me tell you, at the end of his life, even Aurangzeb thought of his karmic balance sheet. If you read his letters written to his sons, he very clearly says, I thought there was light in my heart. I thought there was God in my heart, but I failed to see him. I do not know what lies ahead. Means what punishment lies ahead for me. Yeah. So it's better not to go on that path. It's best to remain calm and ठीक है तकलीफ होती है, it's okay. Celebrate that taklif also, no?
Absolutely. We will do that.
Thank you.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so very much for giving your time and sharing this deep knowledge in such a simple way so that we can integrate it into our lives.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I can go on talking to you, which means we're going to get you back again because there is
But
so
I'm
much
hungry
knowledge
now.
you have. That's it? You're hungry? Okay, we'll let you
Hungry.
go. Thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot. See
Namaste.
you.
Namaskar.